right? So however you like it.
All right. Sounds good. Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. And I'm joined once again by Cyrus Parsa. Cyrus was on my show quite a long time ago. His information is blowing everything up. And not like he says, not like a terrorist, but blowing consciousness open. Cyrus is the founder and CEO of, sorry, I just missed that. Is the founder, founder and of the AI organization, where he's also director of creative analysis and defensive innovations. So he's researched and investigated more than 1,000 AI, robotics, 5G, cybernetic, and big tech companies. Cyrus has a BS in international security, master's degree in homeland security, and lived with Buddhist Taoist monks, fighting monks in the mountains of China, studying internal Wudong arts and meditation. He is an expert in AI, quantum, 5G, security, China, and Iran affairs. So this is a big one, guys. In the summer of 2019 and early 2020, Cyrus predicted and warned accurately in numerous ways that the world's people were in impending danger from a disease or bioweapon, as we know now as the corona, from China CCP, that would lead to conflicts, AI enslavement, famines, misuse of biotech, civil wars, deaths, and world wars. Cyrus provided solutions as a remedy. Cyrus, thanks again for joining me. I know you have a certain topic you want to focus on. You've written many books. I want everybody to know that you are an excellent author. Highly recommend your books. What would you like to focus on today?
I want to cite this as evidence that the Wuhan bioweapon lab was a plot to release it during the Trump presidency to destroy President Trump, take him out of office, and usher in artificial intelligence, smart cities in the age of transhumanism, what you now call the Great Reset. I didn't pull out of thin air. This was published in this book on October 28th, 2019, on page 253, right there. Invisible poison to hit President Trump and the conservatives around him, his generals, to shift the tide and usher in AI, 5G, and all these different kind of things. And that's also comes from my Secret Service report, which was more detailed, and my conversation with the Trump contact that was even more detailed.
Yeah.
So this comes from our evidence as well. I like you to ask me some questions because this is so deep, but think about it. The president of the United States during his presidency was hit by a bioweapon. Mm-hmm. Was it intentional? Well, Cyrus Parsa of the AI organization was the only person on the planet who predicted it, and warned, and cited it, recorded it, and has it in his books and Secret Service report and other ways. That it was intentionally released to take out President Trump, ruin your families, and then all the stuff you're experiencing today with the tyranny. Wow. It was a plot not by the big tech guys. Don't blame them. It's just the way that they operate. It was from somebody in China that already released who it was. The former dictator of the CCP, Jiang Zemin, and his family's son and his cliques. They're responsible for it. It's on my website. But the most important thing from evidence is this book, because on paperback version, on page 253, it's right there. Also mixing humans with animals in there, chimerias, viruses spreading. So many different things we've been experiencing. And code language about nanotechnology and different stuff for the future.
That's incredible. So I know that you have been predicting this stuff for a long time. You predicted this was coming. When I started to see it, I started to break it down. I thought that it came in, earlier than it did. So you're predicting when you came out with this book, because books take a while to write and publish. So you were already on top of this information, obviously well before that. I just saw and put out on my show, I think it was yesterday, that China had been ordering PCR tests as far back as May. So they did a huge buy of PCR tests. So they knew either they were going to release it, it was going to come, it was coming out. So what are your thoughts on that? How early did you think that it came out?
2018 is when I discovered it in November. And then if you look at my CCP virus scare documentary, which will be released soon, and my reports, which are on their website, it says that I initially reported to my contact, chief editor at the Epoch Times, in February 2019, saying it's imminent. And then I used my DHS contacts to say it's imminent. They wanted to know exactly what it was. So no, I want to tell President Trump, because if I tell the way it is now, they'll do it a different way and you won't be able to stop it. I got to talk to President Trump. And they had gatekeepers that wouldn't let me talk to him. So in May, I went to New York, looked at Trump Tower, and I went around the White House to tell them that there's something coming, and the Secret Service. And I said, I'll have a report to you in next month because you won't believe it. So in May, I went there into the East Coast. I spent a month in the East Coast. And then in June, I gave the Secret Service report to President Trump's person close to him. And he gave it to the Secret Service and then to the Secret Service at 2 a.m. in the morning. So they never say we never got it. And it scared the crap out of Vice President Pence. And I said, I'll only tell you guys in person if you talk to me, because they have it's a security thing. When you want to unfold a plot, if you say it in the middle channels and they have surveillance, they'll catch it. Or if we're not smart enough to be able to counter the terror attack, then even if your information is accurate, on point in timing, which is it is, they'll still get outplayed. They got outplayed. I had the skill. I'm sorry, I've done over 500 operations against the CCP, security operations. Wow. I train under Wu-Dang monks, so I can outperform the Chinese, who outperformed the Americans. So that means I'm better than the Secret Service and the Secret Service director.
Absolutely, no question in my mind.
I'm not trying to brag here. What I'm trying to say is my story needs to be run, because when you keep on running the story, it's going to take down the CCP and vindicate President Trump and free this country, but also support even the big tech who are scared, because they think that if my story comes out, it'll just change everything. That's why it was hidden from the beginning. So I'm telling you, I did all this on behalf of you, your families, everybody. All the stuff that you're experiencing, from mandated jobs or losing your jobs and your homes. And I spent 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, working for 2 years straight, flooding the world with information to show how the CCP is threatening everybody and to manipulate big tech and other people. Get it?
Right.
So
I totally agree with you, because Trump, his administration was obviously riddled. There was always leaks going on. So you were very smart to want to talk to, directly with people. So what happened? They kind of like blew you off, and then eventually you did get through to Trump. And I remember you talking about this. Now, I predicted myself that Trump was going to get sick, and I did it like a year before it happened. So you kind of like I pick up on stuff and I look at stuff and I'm like, yeah, they're going to target him. He's going to probably get it. And
yes.
What did you? How did you try to warn him?
So in my Secret Service report, I said, and I told the Trump contact, I said, you have to do this by this time. If you don't do it right before election, you'll lose. And it'll hit you right before election. And you have to do these 5 steps. And they're like, how could any human on the planet know that unless the guy is has a time machine? So it's like,
are they brilliant like you? People don't understand you because you're brilliant. They need to start listening to you. So,
it's if I tell you the truth, I keep on getting attacked. And that's what happens. I try not to bring out the negative because they're friends.
Yeah, I do too.
It's like this. I just explain this to you. Let's say you're a Navy SEAL, which you are, okay? And let's say you're the best of the best. Okay, I'm not a Navy SEAL. There's certain skills I don't have, right? But you're the best of the best. And you train 20 years and you're the best at AI, transhumanism, and biosecurity and UFO stuff and analysis. And you can help save the country and President Trump and even the liberals as well, because it's an execution process. You work for 20 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 years and straight, because you know how everything's going to pan out. And let's say for 20 years behind the scenes, you were doing hidden studies and you gave up almost everything just to work. And so you're basically a trained Spartan like me. You don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't do drugs, you don't even have sex because, and so many different things I did to make myself almost like superhuman. So you get yourself ready for that fight, right? And when you come in, someone like in the movie Gladiator, what did he do? He took his kingship away and sent him and raped his wife, right? And tried to kill him because he could have been a good emperor. And then let's say Lord of the Rings. What happens? Frodo's going to take the ring to Mordor, right? And when he wants to take the ring and he knows how to do it, people around him want to do it themselves, and they grab the ring and they get the power. So what happened was at the beginning there was things about people not believing me. Okay. Then there were people like, you go to contractors. When I went there at the beginning, you're like, this is good stuff. I'm going to steal it and make millions with the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, damn. Then I go to CI director, kind of did the same thing. I'm like, okay. Then I go over here and then I publish my books. I go to journalists. They like a little bit. They start stealing that. I'm like, my stuff is going everywhere. My name is not being used. Not being given credit because I got to go into battle. So I'm like, so then when I wrote my lawsuit and it gets global, 2 billion people, it's crazy. But people start using it. And every time a terror attack happens, something bad happens, then they're like, well, sure, he's right. But then they'll use the mantle, the ring, to take my position that I had or the skills to lead it. Yep. So this is what it did with my AI nanotech transhuman stuff. And they messed it up and they got deleted because they didn't give accurate information. So basically, what kind of person is that actually steals the ring and uses, like, let's say the Christian cross, the religion or the symbol or liberal side, the other things, and leads millions of people? Because when I came into this, there were podcasters who were in control of everything, right? So when they're like this, and half of them got there, they're not like you. You have skill. You went and served. You have courage. You have experience. You're battle ready. So you come in. You're straight on knowledge. But they just look at my stuff, and they all control each other on Twitter. So there's like 100 podcasters or 100 Twitter accounts, and they all have followers. So, and everyone's like, okay, we'll follow them. And every stage that I got something right, and then afterwards he's right, then they would pass on a little information here and make it look like it just came out of nowhere and it wasn't from Cyrus. Or they cite something from 20 years ago just to make my story go away, to hid their crimes on not just liberal side, the consumer side. So every time, then I'm like, okay, now how many vaccines are coming? And I put this out last year. They call me crazy. They didn't believe it, or they're stealing. So it's always been the ring. It's been, you could say, demons or negative people controlling it. So I'm like you. If I just sat down and didn't do my 20 years of training and just was interested in doing, like, drinking, having fun, going and casually doing blah, 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 I wouldn't have these skills. But I was born with certain skills, right? Like I said, I can't change the tire in my core. I had to look up a YouTube video. I'm not good at math. There's certain things I'm really stupid at. It took me 5 years to graduate high school, okay? But I went to a PhD program as well. So there's some things I'm like a Spartan warrior that is so good. And here's the other thing. Because I was born in Iran, like when I was my Homeland Security program, like it was really difficult for patriots and Christians and Anglo-Saxon people to trust me because they think Iran, and they're not really educated. He could be a radical Muslim, or he could be, I'm not even a Muslim, right? Or they don't know that much, right? It's a trust issue, right? Then I go on the liberal side and I defend the Christians, and then they attack me. So I'm like, I get it from both ways because I'm like 70% Anglo myself. The Persians were invaded by the Romans, Greeks, and the Persians were Anglo-Saxon or German, but they were invaded by Arabs and Mongolians. So before my hair turns white, this goes blonde. And then, but I'm also Asian and potentially a little bit something else. It could be African, or it could be Arab, I'm not sure, but at least I'm 70% white, 75% white. So it's like, I can drive with everybody, but it's hard for both sides to, it's like, do you get it? I'm being very, very frank. And that's been the most difficult thing. And I'm not superhuman. I need your support. I almost died last year. I was 225 pounds. You saw me on your show. I worked so much. I was just like done. And what did I say about the first, second, and third dose. I said that on January 2021.
I remember that. Yeah.
How did I know? So can you validate what I just said? Do you believe what I just said to be true? Because I have all the evidence, by the way. But
oh yeah, I mean, you're like I said, you're absolutely brilliant. I know you get attacked. I get attacked. When you're talking about all these things, they steal your information and stuff. I'm like, God, he's going through the same thing. So yeah, they do that, and the reason they do that is to unvalidate our information to a certain extent as well. So you're like brilliant. Like I said, you're basically disclosing. I started talking heavily about transhumanism, and then I'm reading your book again, and I'm like, there, he said it in his book, and here it is. They're having all this stuff that's going into that thing that's coming into us, and it's nanotech. You were talking about all that stuff. I'm like, oh my God, he's so far ahead of everybody. And that's the way it is sometimes when you're so far ahead of people, it's hard for them to wrap their mind around it. So I know you wanted to focus on just one aspect so that we don't stretch them too much.
Yeah.
But we could stretch them way out there. I know my audience loves to be stretched. So what we're going to do is we're going to do multiple shows because we'll pack like 45 minutes or so, and then we'll do another show where we'll pack it again. So let's focus on
Wuhan Bioweapon Lab.
Yes.
I want to get back to that. So what I just said, I hope you guys weren't offended. I'm trying my best to seek your support because I'm fighting in behalf of the country and I need your support. I really do. And I've got everything right so far, and you have me in your
huge heart. Yeah, huge heart. Yeah.
I'm battling for your families. Okay. Yeah. And I just need your support. So let's go back to this. This narrative needs to be run. So what was the reason that this bioweapon plot was run on President Trump? Let me explain that. Okay. It's very, very important. President Trump, behind the scenes, he was doing a lot of things to help people of faith, especially the Christians, the Falun Dafa practitioners, even Tibetans and Uyghurs. He wanted to disclose that there was genocide in China going on, and they had camps. Okay. Jiang Zemin in China, it was also on page 253. Okay. On 253, I say who the culprit is. I said it's Jiang Zemin, you see? And I gave this information to the Epoch Times people in 2019 and early 2020 and some other people as well. So what he wanted to do is counter what Trump is doing so people don't find out that they genocided millions of people in camps and killed organs. Right. So, and there was a battle behind the scenes, and I discovered that they were going to outmaneuver President Trump by launching this bioweapon to kick him out of office. And because President Trump was working on trade. So what I did is, President Trump is about trade, and they're like, he knows. But then Trump's like, damn, Cyrus exposes stuff. And I coded the bioweapon in here because I'm trying to tell you, President Trump, they've outmaneuvered you guys. They're about to launch a bioweapon. Yep. It's about to be launched. Yep. So this is the reason why the bioweapon was launched, because they want to dominate the world with our AI and transhumanism, but they want to hide that they genocided their own people by putting them in concentration camps. So Jiang Zemin's son, who was ahead of that Wuhan lab, and the email was taken off, by the way. I'm sorry, his name from the registry online, and his other military family members, they cooked up this bioweapon, and it was launched because they were afraid that the entire Communist Party would go down. And you say, why would they do that to their own country? If they rape and butcher and organ harvest tens of millions of people in their own country, and they're known to kill over 100 million of their own Chinese people in the course of a few decades, 60, 70 years, why wouldn't they, to them, they're like 1.5 billion Chinese, 1 billion Chinese. They don't care as long as they're in power.
Dropping a bucket.
Someone who rapes and kills you and organ harvests their own people and puts them in camps doesn't care if half their population disappears. Right. That's the reason, Michael. That's the reason they wanted to take out President Trump, to dominate the world of AI, but also hide the concentration camps. And that goes back to my books and my lawsuit before anything hit.
So this is amazing. I didn't realize that you had missions that you've done against the Chinese. That's why you're so informed. you know them probably on a level that no one on the universe in our consciousness knows. It's unbelievable what you know. So yes, the Chinese, you know, the Korean War, they came down and almost slaughtered American troops, barely got our troops out and saved the day. So MacArthur wanted to nuke them. Truman said, no, we only do that to the Japanese. We don't do that to the Chinese, you know, whatever. So they basically did the 38th parallel, whatever it is. And so now they have the two Koreas. So they're badass. They're badass fighters. They have been slowly coming at us for decades now. And now we have, you know, whoever that guy in office is right now, they laugh at that. He's probably one of their clones, one of their, you know, puppets or whatever. So we're in a bad situation, really bad situation. So we lost the one guy that was probably going to save us from this thing. He was going after China, you know, shutting them down trade wise and so forth, and calling them out on a lot of stuff. Do you think that's really why they came after him with this bioweapon? Do you think that's what did it?
You mean Trump?
Oh yeah.
Yes. That and everything he was doing to revive the country, because this country was going down the tubes. It was, and he came to revive it. Now it's going down the tubes again at an accelerated rate.
Oh yeah.
So this is why people say, why is he asking for attention? Let me explain to you why I'm asking for recognition. It's not just because communists don't want to give recognition to people, which I don't. Not because I did the hard work, not because I got everything right, because everything I put out validates and leads to evidence that it was a bioweapon that was purposely launched to knock out President Trump and enslave the world's people in the future with extinction level events. Do you understand why I've been working so hard to get my name out and these books out and the dates out? Because it validates. This is paperback. President Trump has a copy of this. This was delivered to President Trump and his circle on November 5th, on or about a little bit later, 2019. But I had coded language in there, and he was getting hunted so much by the left side. So let's say you're out to war, right? And you're like, okay, we got our troops ready. We have an elite squad of 22 people, and you want to take out not only a target, but a few people connected to a target, right? And you're sitting there, and then your other Navy SEALs, who are, let's say, Democrats instead of Republicans or liberals, they start attacking you while you're trying to take them out. Right. What's going to happen to you? You're probably going to lose that mission and get your ass kicked, right? Right. Exactly what happened. So I see this and I'm like, I'm not a Navy SEAL, right? And like, I'm in the back and I'm trained like a Spartan. I come out, hey, Cyrus, who is hit? Let's take what he says. And, no, I know how to do it. But damn it. And then for the next 2 years, look, I did this. You understand? The ring. That's why, and they'd always support somebody who was a parrot that would say like AI, nanotech, transhumans, and use the cross. I'm like, that's what the demons do. They actually will pick somebody that you'll like their face, and they use the nice words and use religion. So in your brain thinks that God sent them. And because they steal and they don't have the skill for it, you can say Satan or demonic things. Use that person, and when they get in power later on, they'll be a bad person. Because what is someone who steals? What are they like? Someone who steals is like a rapist,
right?
You know, and someone who uses religion to steal and parrot and plagiarize. That's what happened. I couldn't get the information out in time, and you're wearing masks and getting dragged because people would steal my story and my intel, and they don't have any information before. You can look at it, they were just like having their coffee, blah, 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 and I'm like, this guy comes out with everything. That's why I'm complaining, because the stealing is what leads to, and then what happened later on. Look at the blessings that was lost. So I did a tweet a few days ago. Because I got interviewed by His Glory, so truly man of faith, Pastor Dave.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
like his work,
and he had me on 5 times trying to give me credit. before, because so I can get the national attention, so I can change the tide. And he calls me up and he says, let's do an interview because you called me. You said President Trump got hit by the bioweapon. How did you know ahead of time during the live interview?
Yeah.
Is that what you said, Cyrus? I said, yeah. So that's in my tweet and my other stuff as well. I put out and other channels. And he didn't know. I never told anybody. But I use a certain technology that I developed to scan his body from 2,000 miles away. Boom. Damn, he's got hit by the bioweapon, just like I put in my book right before the election, just like I said to the Secret Service.
Yeah.
So not only did I predict the future, but I saw exactly when he got it. Boom. I called, texted my Chinese contact, who gets close to President Trump in terms of communication. Mm-hmm. And then I called Pastor Dave. And then next thing you know, and then I did a huge tweet. I said, Joe Rogan, please have me on your show. And I implied there's this big danger, not just to him, because I knew it would lead to January 6th. Mm-hmm. And then nobody would have me on their show in terms of they had a big account. So to change the tide. So I pleaded with Alex Jones as well. So to help, and complete silence. So and then within 4 days, President Trump does a tweet and says, it is what it is. And he goes to the hospital. Yep. So the entire time I'm trying to save President Trump's life and this country with my intel. And I needed support in time. So now we have what I call the extinction stage, that in the next 20 years, humanity will be extincted in the hundreds of millions to billions in stages from many different ways. And that's what's for my books as well. Yep. So I'm really tired.
And there, we can blow this audience up a little bit. Now, I know you're bringing in the UFO content, the UFO stuff, the alien stuff, and I'm all over that. I think my audience who loves that stuff too. Go ahead and drop that in here a little bit too. So that's very important.
How about you guys first watched AI to plan to invade humanity?
Yes, I'm gonna leave the links for that. Yeah, we'll definitely leave the links.
Good. Yeah, I'll come for part 2 because I want to do a clip with you right now. Okay. And to put it out in social media, and it's going to change the world because it was partially described in my interview with Stu Peters yesterday. Yeah. It's also from that movie and my book, and it's clear language a little bit, but it's going to change the world. So I want to remind you again, guys. I've done this on your behalf. I turn on hundreds of millions of dollars so I can make stuff public, because once you get contracts and money, you can't make stuff public. So I did it for your behalf. So this is the support I need. Share your social media too. I super need you to donate to me and my teammates and my translator teams in Chinese and stuff. If you put a donation link, whether it's $10, $2,500, whatever it is, I've worked on your family's behalf. I swear to God. So we need funds. We need donations. Get this book and talk about page 253 and other pages that describe everything that's happening today. President Trump is the evidence. Spread the story, because it's going to take down everything you don't like. Understand? Trust me. Believe me on this. Follow me on Twitter, Gab, Gicker, Telegram, and Instagram at CYRUSAPARSA, the number 1. And again, I truly need your support. Financial donations to us. Get the book. And I'm going to come back for part 2. And me and Michael, we're gonna put out something big soon. I want to put out first, and him and I will do it. Okay. Again, I support everybody, no matter you're conservative or liberal. I did this because I truly believe there's going to be an extinction level event to hundreds of millions of people, to billions in stages. I've been right about everything. And don't discount me anymore. Those people who write back comments and say, what he says is not true. I really think because you're being controlled, or you have the intelligence of a goldfish. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, Cyrus. And we're posting the links as we're talking, so people are going to be making contributions. I'll be making contributions. I bought every one of your books, and I highly recommend everyone that's watching, link into his books and link into help him out. We'll be back again. We're going to be talking a lot more. This is amazing information. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you guys again.